subscribe, all that great stuff. Now, if you want to stick around, we'll go over a little Q&A. Answer all your, there's a lot of questions. I'll answer all your questions, and then we'll go from there. If you got to take off, enjoy it. Let's see how it goes here. All right. Shaolin says, hey, Rob, when the rich person dies and passes on their assets, wouldn't the debt transfer the kids to? How they handle the debt? Depends on how you set it up. If you have it as like a trust, it just goes out to the different companies that are in the trust, and then they all take on that debt. Or if it's like C Corp, S Corps, I mean, LLC doesn't really work that way. And then wills are like the worst thing you can possibly do, because that just transfers. It depends on if the debt is discharged within the stipulations of who it goes to. So again, it's all how you set it up. And there's a guy you should probably follow named Mark Kohler, and he can guide you in the right direction. That guy's really good. Lawyer, CPA, likes crypto, talks about these things all the time. Seth says, have a good weekend. Yes, try to. Pineapple Piece that says, digital news, does rate cuts mean adding more liquidity in the market? No, what it means is when the Federal Reserve cuts the rates, that's the actual Fed funds rate. And right now it's between 525 and 550. So if they cut the rates by quarter basis points or 50 basis points, depending on what they want to do on September 18th, it doesn't do much for the liquidity itself. The liquidity comes from, correct me in the comment section, from quantitative easing and then firing up the printers. So when they start to do those things and say, okay, we've cut the rates, now we want to infuse the economy with a little bit more of the slush funds that we like to do, then they will do quantitative easing and start dumping out money, helicopter money. Problem with that is there's this thing called the Cantillon effect, where when the Treasury starts to print those dollar bills, starts to go out, where does it go? Does it go to the plebs like us? No. It goes to the top people first, goes to the banks load out to the rich people buy assets, asset prices go up, comes to us. So in all honesty, I mean, it's good. And I got to tell you, unless you own assets, it's not the greatest thing. So that's why I'm always talking about real estate and land and crypto and digital assets, because they're assets. It's in the name. Neat says, so is a Roth the way to go then? It's up to you. So for me, like for capital gains, people ask me like, why are you in a Roth IRA? Aren't you in Puerto Rico? Don't you have capital gains? I still have to pay taxes, you guys know. I mean, there's corporate tax, there's personal tax, but capital gains, no. However, what happens if for some reason family members, I need to take care of somebody, or I need to be in the United States, I can't be in Puerto Rico anymore. That means that I lose that title, that entitlement of Act 60. So if I come here, what happens to all that crypto that I could potentially sell later? Well, now I get taxed. Roth IRAs for me is just one sector of what I'm doing as far as diversification. Do I put everything into my Roth IRA? First of all, I can't. No, it's just a small allocation here. And then, of course, you have a small allocation in like some kind of properties or some of real estate and maybe some kind of equities and some kind of crypto. And it kind of, is a big mesh of just a little diversification. So for me, it works for me. It doesn't work for everybody. Some people might say, I don't want to do that. I just want to, keep it and then sell and I'll pay the taxes whenever. Cool. Or some people say, I'm never going to sell. Great. It's not my position to tell you what to do, of course. It's for you to decide, like, this is going to work out for me. If you have any questions, reach out to the iTRUST guys. You actually get a real person when you contact them. It's crazy. J2 Day says, I'm so sick of every coin, token, and custodian changing the rules again. Going to make me a maxi. I don't blame you. I do not blame you, J2 Day. Reggie says, this will be my first bull run. Hey, but I won't be doing loans. Wow. You're like way ahead of me. I've only heard you and other OGs tell horror stories about this topic. Story always ends with, they got liquidated and lost my crypto. It wasn't even that. It wasn't even, the liquidations. Because, if you think about it, logically, you could do it. It's just that some of these companies would just get way ahead of themselves. And Celsius was the big one. And they were just essentially like a Ponzi scheme. And that was just trying to fund their nonsense that was going on. Is Gary Gensler right about regulation? Maybe. Although I will tell you this, he was the top cop at the SEC, and for some reason just couldn't get that FTX was a straight up going down the tubes, even though he met with Sam Bankman-Fried so much. So I don't know. But yeah, Reggie, it's not something I will do again because I learned my lesson. And then maybe something comes along where you can loan against your Bitcoin and crypto, but I don't know. I probably won't do it. Serge says, one thing I'll say about your show, it's probably one of the most professional shows in crypto. I don't know if you've seen James at the Best Answers, very pro. I don't know if you've seen Ben over in the Cryptoverse, professional. Guy, Nick, those guys over Coin Bureau, super pro. Even when they're doing the Crypto Bro show, but I appreciate it. A lot of shows are just designed to push their trading groups with more of a sales. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I'll take it, man. Shalin says, according to Gary's record, he only met with SBF 2 times. Yeah. To the records. Thanks, Darren. Sketchy ATT service off the coast of Alaska. Ooh. Hope all my friends have a great day. I got to buy the Wi-Fi package on the boat. Darren, sounds like a fun time. Cranskinator, stick with the king. No need for the quick bling. That's a good one. One of us. Bitcoin maxis forever. You know, as you go through these cycles, these 4-year cycles, there's more and more maxis created all the time. If you kept your U.S. citizenship, don't you still need to pay U.S. tax even if you live elsewhere? Yes, but in Puerto Rico, it's a commonwealth. So it's you don't have to, you don't really even need your passport. Daddio says, no, Rob, quantitative easing and rates are related, but separate things. Rates are other lonesome boost liquidity. Sure, everybody cheaper money to every lending institution or the Fed. That's true, but quantitative easing, well, I think is the major force. Could be wrong if we take a look at the M2 money supply. But yeah, you're right. It does its job. Rob, did you get stimulus checks? I forgot if everyone got check, rich or poor. I think everybody got a stimulus check. That was a long time ago. Jose says 2 million's enough. Nice. Danny says, Rob, I'm sitting on my big fat Voyager second distribution check. Wondering when I want to reinvest in Bitcoin. Current timing, any thoughts? Yes. So check this out. We talked about this yesterday, didn't we? Which, let's take a look at time and risk bands. And let's take a look at Bitcoin. So I don't do price predictions. I mean, I do one price prediction that Bitcoin will be between $5 and $5 million by the end of 2024. So somewhere in that range, I'm pretty sure it's going to hit. But if you want to do some kind of like looking at like, you know, where things could potentially go, again, in the Cryptoverse, link in the description, first month, 10% off, blah, blah, blah. So we were sitting pretty nice at the 0.52 level, around 65,000. But then as it dipped below the 0.5, my dollar cost averaging, the amount that I buy every single day on Coinbase, I have to go into Coinbase and change it because as the risk levels go down, I keep putting more money in. And I can't tell you if we're going to go, because we're at 0.45, we're at 0.454. Once it gets 0.45 and below, I increase it again. And once it goes to 0.4, I increase it again. So if it goes below 46,000, let's just say you're putting in, I don't know, $100 a day at 0.5. And then at 0.45, you put in 125 a day. And then at 0.4, you put in 150 a day. Or maybe you just go just ballsy at 0.5 and you say, okay, it's 100, 0.45, 200, 0.4, 500, 0.3, that's pretty low, 34,000, 600, 700, if you can afford it. So for me, that's what I would do, but I'm not sure. Some people would say, no, you just got to do a lump sum because this is the local bottom and this is it. You're done. All right. Yeah. Mitch says, hey, Rob, good to catch you live. Those of us who have been buying since the bear feel a weird sense of calm as the market feels panic. Having a long-term horizon is the way. It is nice, isn't it? Because it sucks when you got to look at the charts and you're looking at your meme coin that you just heard about. That's going to be the next big thing. And then you're like, wow, I just put in my kid's college fund and it just broke 50% down on the downwick. So gosh, I hope this goes up. And you're freaking out. That's what I try to avoid, because I learned my lesson back in 2018 when I kind of tried to catch the market. And I said, this isn't going to work. It's going to be DCing. And that's all it's been. So yeah. Catacomb says, Colder is smart and a good watch. Mark's a good guy. Shalon says, thanks. Thank you. Hey, Rob, have you considered Caspa? I own Caspa. The guys that are very big into Caspa, David and Robin over at Sin City Crypto. So if you go watch Sin City Crypto, they talk a lot about ICP. They talk a lot about Caspa, and they talk a lot about Cardano. So check those guys out. Sin City Crypto. Good guys. Good guys. Wow. XRP will be at 50 cents in 2032. Yeah. Update your browser. Yes, I need to do that. Catacomb says 1 million from the 80s would be like 250 today. Probably so. Sailors even susceptible over leverage. Why invest in a Bitcoin proxy? Yeah, it's a good thing to consider. I think, because if you look at, 700% in 1 year, that's pretty good. It seems like whoever wants to invest, I know BlackRock has been investing in MicroStrategy for years and years and years. So I think like the traditional finance folks are like, well, I don't really get Bitcoin, but I know these guys believe in it and it seems to work out pretty well for them. I don't want to deal with it. So I'm just going to invest into MicroStrategy. I always thought that would stop as soon as we got a Bitcoin ETF, because then the people that are used to that type of landscape would just say, I'll just get an ETF. But for some reason, people seem to think that MicroStrategy is the way to go. Who am I to say? Yeah, different market, different vision, different purpose in the portfolio. Exactly. Ooh, Mima says, bought more Link and injectable. That's nice. Jose said, is Puerto Rican food great? Is it like Mexican food? It is the exact opposite. And I talk about this many times. Puerto Rican food is, if you like spicy food, you're in the wrong place. So I lived in El Paso for almost 25 years. And that's great Mexican food. And that's a lot of spice. In Puerto Rico, it's like, could I get some salt? Anyhow, Sin City is a great show. They talk about Near Protocol. Oh, yeah, Near. Very similar taste to Rob. Yes. I actually met the guys. I was down there for the Rare Evo event in Las Vegas. Good times. Jose says, do you service your own pools, Rob? This is just a green screen. I just take the green screen down. Sin City's my jam. Nice pool, Rob. No doubt I was in Miami. Good job, crypto. Good job, crypto. Yeah, and Cransinator says it right. You only freak out if you overinvest. But like we talked about yesterday, like even me, when I open up my portfolio, I'm like, damn, 30% down, 40, 50%. Sucks. I'm like, should I sell? Maybe it'll go down even more. And you start to think about these things because it's just natural. Then you remember, you're like, well, rate cuts, more liquidity, quantitative easing, and then presidential election will be over in November and December, and things are going pretty well in the S&P. So then you start to think about it, and you're like, hold on, wait a second. I don't think BlackRock, with their 9.2 trillion assets under management, that had the most successful ETF of all time, got into this so it can go to zero. Maybe I'll stick around for a little bit longer. And then you start to think about, okay, what was my plan again? Oh, yeah. Time and wristbands increases as the risks go lower, ride the whole thing out, long time horizons, and then you just go forward. Yeah. Has crypto aged you faster? I don't think so. I'm 23, so Yeah. What's the lowest percentage of Bitcoin you've held compared to alts? Gosh, in 2021, I want to say it was like a 40% Bitcoin, 60% altcoin split, somewhere around there. It got pretty heavy because your alts just start to run during these massive bull runs. So it's crazy. Yeah. B Duty says, I'm self-employed. I love what I do. I'm okay with making 300 to 500K, just enough for a house. See, perfect. Don't have to worry about too many things. Just you got all your bills paid. Everything's good. And that's the other thing. It's like some of these maximalists, whatever crypto or project they're in, they'll always tell you diamond hands and hold forever and never sell and it's going to the moon and blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, that's maybe true, but I mean, how stressed out are you? Are all your bills paid? Were you able to travel the world just a little bit? Were you able to get out of your city? Are you healthy? Does your family need other things? You know, these are the things that you really want to think about. And like we say, like Bitcoin can give you those things, crypto can give you those things, but it's not those things. You can't buy time and you can't buy a stress-free life. Actually, that's not true. You can buy a stress-free life. But it's not everything. Just holding it like, you know, and just saying, my precious. Keep looking at it. Doesn't do much good. Oh. Me says, Rob, what do you think about Trump versus Harris debate in 3 days? It could move the Bitcoin price. Here's what I think. Does anybody not know who they're voting for? Well, I can't vote for the president. I live in Puerto Rico. But is anybody like on the fence? You know, like, if I see this debate, it's going to sway me one way or the other. I think most people know who they're going to vote for already. And we'll see. It'll be entertaining. That's for sure. I'll probably watch it. You don't look a day over 19 and a half. I am old. I am old, Daddy-O. Yes, my precious. Rob, what's one of your favorite non-crypto related podcast channels that you listen to? Let's take a look. He's right there. So this is the stuff that I watch, like army documentaries, jiu-jitsu stuff, volleyball, and I love this guy, Dr. Mike, Renaissance Periodization. He like critiques everybody's workouts. That's pretty fun. And I watch Ben every so often. Jocko Willink. So yeah, pretty much those types of things. Any thoughts on SWE? Some smart people believe that SWE is going to be big, like Nick and Guy over at Coin Bureau. So they've got an army of people doing research for them. So I think you do pretty well. Who's this loser? Alex Fossil. If you guys don't know Alex, he's a pretty good guy. I hate him sometimes because he gets me into these like crazy projects that usually do like a 5 and 10x. And every time it's like when I'm super busy, he's like, hey bro, look at this great project. And then we get into it. I'm like, God damn it. I've only got so much time in the world. But I like him. Rob's one of the greatest guys we have in crypto. That's a stretch, Alex. That's a big, big stretch, but I appreciate it. Yeah. AVAX is the dark horse. You know who's big on AVAX? Crypto Stash. Not to get away from the bro fest that me and Alex were just having, but Crypto Stash, I think that he just signed a contract to talk about them more. And he talks about, and he's if you're into games, I'm not a big gamer, but I think it's the future. He talks about playing this game off the grid. And it's like a fantastic looking game that you would never know. Like games are catching up. Web3 games are catching up to Web2. I think they're going to be very big, especially what you can do. And good on Stash to sign a good contract with a good company. I like those guys too. Bingo. Hey, Rob, will you rotate out of Bitcoin and into ETH, and then out of ETH and into alts? That's the usual consensus of what people say to do. But No. I'm just going to play it by ear. Like, things have been working pretty well for me for just this basic, but as the markets change, you really should change if you want to maximize profits and want to, delve into that area. I know at some point, like Ben talks about, the Bitcoin dominance is going to go down, and it's going to flow into high cap alts. So you're going to see like the Ethereums, the Solanas, Toncoin, BNB, those are going to really rip. And then it's going to flow down into smaller caps, which should be like top 50 to 250, 300, 500, 1,000, whatever it is. And there's going to be a lot of money being made, but it's just risky. I'm at that point in my life where I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with a little risk, but not a boatload of risk. So I'll probably just keep doing what I'm doing. And then, sometimes besides Bitcoin, I feel like I've bought enough. Because if you've been buying alts like I've been buying alts, it's been so cheap for so long. And it's getting even cheaper recently. So like, I'm just like, I think I got enough on this one. Yeah, I can't live without spice food. Exactly. No rotation for me this cycle. It got ruined last cycle. Just make my picks and hodl. Exactly. I have to agree with this one too. You don't want to deal with it. And some people will ask me like, hey, are you nervous about this? And do you want to just, get out and sell? I'm like, you don't have to buy the dip. You don't have to sell. Sometimes you just do nothing. Like I was talking to Peggy, a lady that messages me. She's like, hey, I'm really getting nervous because of what's happening. And I'm like, you have options. You can sell right now. It's not for you. That's fine. But sometimes, you just don't do nothing. Just sit on the sideline and just wait. She's like, oh, okay, I do that. No mention of XRP. Interesting. I still have some. We did mention it in the presentation. And hopefully it does well. And of course, it's one of those few that actually has some regulatory clarity, even though they're waiting for the SEC to appeal or not. Oh, well. What do you do if you don't like any of the presidential candidates? It depends. You can do nothing. A lot of people like to do that. And some people say, well, vote for the lesser of two evils. I don't know. Me, I can't vote anyhow. I really doubt Solana stays number 5. Link, EOS, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. I'll hit number 5 and drop to 20 or more in market cap. Learn from experience. Well, if you're talking about, they are old cappers, especially EOS. Yeah. Chainlink. How many other oracles are out there? There's one called Pith on Solana, but how many oracles that can pull in outside data into a blockchain? I don't know. Bitcoin Cash. I don't know. I think layer 2 solutions on Bitcoin will be just fine. I don't understand the whole point of Bitcoin Cash. I understand it beforehand, but now I don't really get it. Do your dogs stay in Puerto Rico? I got one, and she just goes with us because we'll come here for 2 or 3 months, and then we'll go back to Puerto Rico for like 7 or 8 months, and then maybe we'll take a trip to Europe sometimes, and that's it. But she always goes with us. Daddy-O says, aren't you frustrated that the cheap alts you bought 6 months ago are so much cheaper now? Nah, I knew when I bought it, I'm like, everybody talks about this is like, the bottom, but who knows if it is. That's why you'd like your dollar cost average. I'm always just thinking to myself, well, if I bought, say, near protocol up here, right? And then as time has gone on, and then I buy it in the middle, as long as I buy, and first of all, I have to understand, some of these products aren't coming back, right? Some of these meme coins and stuff, and even like layer 1s, like layer 2s, they're not coming back. So the things that you invest into, we follow the rules, right? And what's the very first rule? Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. It's all gone. So for me, I'm always thinking, well, I like this project. I like the community. I like what it's doing. It has real utility. I see the unlocks. I see the partnerships that they have. Probably going to be a good one. It's got a good community, utility, team, and tokenomics. So when I go down that list and I say, well, I bought here, And then I've been buying a lot right here. And if it goes down here, I can lower my cost basis by keep buying. So like, let me ask you guys this. How would you feel? I asked this yesterday. How do you feel about Bitcoin going to like a crash, a flash crash of below 40,000? Would you feel frustrated? You're like, damn it, I bought it at 73,000 and I bought it at 65. And then they told me 50K or 55K was it. Now it's below that. Would you be okay with that? Going below 40K? Let me know. Thanks, JB. Appreciate it. Any thoughts on Near and Ondo? I think Ondo is backed. I think it's been rumored that BlackRock is buying it. I'm not for sure. That's a real world asset play. And Near, I'm a big believer in them. And the reason why is because we all know I like Sweatcoin. Didn't really do too well in the price appreciation, but whatever. But Near proved the point, which is you can take 150 million people from Web 2 and you can do an airdrop over 2-3 days and not shut down. That was amazing to me. So I like Near. Rob, any thoughts on render versus render? First of all, I think if you have your render on ERC20, I think you have to switch that over to Solana. Correct me in the comments, but I don't have any anymore. I sold it. Thank you. What do you think about cats, Rob? They're fine. Just don't understand why people get pets that hate them. I don't know. 42K would be amazing. All right, that's interesting. I have to agree, actually. Latest Ben's video foreshadowing ETH at 1200 post rate cut. What? Ben is an Ethereum maxi? That's crazy. Yeah, because I purchased Bitcoin when it down to 16K. Very nice. Wisdom is true. Tell you what, crypto has been forced to learn about Wall Street stocks and some Forex. Some are shocked about others on the game of profit, especially about fake FOMO's profit. Wisdom, I got to tell you, some people like me have to get to learn about Fed rate cuts. Who the heck was paying attention to Fed rate cuts before they got into crypto? Was anybody like enthralled by that? Like, ooh, this guy named Jerome Powell, it's Federal Reserve, which is about as federal as Federal Express. And they're cutting these rates. I don't know what that means, but okay. And all of a sudden you get into it, and you're like, oh, this is like a big deal. And you take a look at jobs report and JOLTS, and you take a look at unemployment rates. And before it was kind of interesting, and now it's like, it's important. It's amazing what we learn, right? Now, financial advice, if you have 1K to spend, what do you buy? I make sure that all my bills are paid and that my lights stay on. That's the first thing. And then from there, probably dollar cost average into something. Probably Bitcoin. Because it's, if you have a 1K to spend, like what's your, to me, it's always, I always think, what's the risk versus reward? Well, if I get into Bitcoin, it's not much. There's risk there. It's much riskier than, say, like a T-bill or putting it into a bank account that I earn 0.02%. But I like my chances over a long horizon. Taking notes says, will there be rate cuts? I don't know. Let's take a look. Rate hike percentage. Before it was like a 45-55 split. Then it was 75-25. And today it is, oh, look at that, 70-30. I swear to God. This is, it's like the weather. It's like the rain in Puerto Rico. If you don't like it, just stick around for a couple minutes. It'll change. Same thing here with the Fed Watch tool, but it has been trending to this 500, 525 rate cut. So I'll take it. AT says multiple rate cuts coming. It could be. I think it would have been a definite AT if we would have got an unemployment rate at 4.4 or above. I think we were at 4.2, which was a reduction from 4.3. And base Pepe. Wick says, do you all think the Ripple exec, I think this is Larson, endorsing Kamala is a sign they know she's going to pivot in favor of crypto. I said this yesterday. I thought it was a win for Ripple and XRP, and people are like, what? But if you think about it, I mean, maybe they're just hedging their bet. I think maybe if one side gives to Donald Trump and the other side gives to Kamala Harris, they play both sides. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. That actually happens quite a bit. So, Amy Johnson, why am I not getting notification at your live? Because YouTube hates me. That's what I believe. No, I don't. I think it always happens like that. Usually it's Chris Larson endorsed Hillary, and the rest is history. All right. On that note, let's get out of here because it's getting late, and it's Saturday. We should enjoy these days. So everybody, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Again, all the things that we talked about, the presentation, links to iTRUST, and of course, the statement from them about that 125 charge that they're going to cover, even though that wasn't the deal. Good for them. There's links in the description for all that stuff. But if you like today's video, like and subscribe on your way out. That's it for today. Thanks so much, everybody, and I'll see you on the next one, which will be tomorrow. Maybe I'll get Jerry Hall in here. We'll have a good time. Thanks, everybody. Adios.